All right, all right, all right. Here we are, everyone. Happy July 17th. My name is Sean Mitchell. This is Real Sales Talk, the show for salespeople by real salespeople. I am one of your hosts, Sean Mitchell. My other co-host is Henry Johnson. He unfortunately had something come up last minute and will not be able to make it. However, we still will go on with the show. So hope you all are doing fantastic today. I don't know if you can see this, but for those that are watching, can actually see this. For those that are not, I'll just explain. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I had a t-shirt made of my Snapchat code, wearing it today while in San Francisco for a sales conference. You can see if you actually scan that, it'll pop up. If you open up the Snapchat app, scan this, it'll pop up with my account for you to follow me. Henry and I are super excited, super thankful to. I want to just cover a couple of things here before we dive in. We've been talking about some sponsorships, a sponsorship for season 3. This will be in 5-6 weeks or so after we're done with season 2. We're looking for a sponsor. Ideally, we want it to be something that's relevant to our audience. Well, it has to be relevant to our audience, but ideally, something that is beneficial to salespeople. So if you know someone or you're a company who wants to sponsor our show, let's talk, email me, tweet me, let's get connected. So for those that are watching and listening to this, please send in your questions, and we're going with this for a little while longer just to kind of see how it goes. For questions and comments, you want to share your thoughts, go to Twitter, go to the search top right and enter in hashtag Real Sales Talk and tweet at us your comments and questions as they come in. Now, if you're watching this or if you're listening to this on the podcast driving into work, don't do that while you're driving. Bad idea. Would hate to be the reason why you get into a fender bender. So when you get to a stopping point, pull up Twitter, use the hashtag, and send us your questions. And if you're watching this live, as you send us questions, I'll see them come in and I'll address them specific to Snapchat. So this is season 2, episode 4. This is part 2 of a quote-unquote mini-series within our season 2 about Snapchat. If you missed last week's, you can go back and watch or listen to that. We build a case for why people should be using Snapchat who are in sales. And tonight, we're going to be talking about specific strategies to how salespeople can use this. And if you're watching this and you're not in sales, that's totally okay. In fact, this will actually be really good for you as well. I know a lot of people who follow me on Snapchat are in marketing and run their own businesses and doing other things, and they really like the things that I share. So what I share today on the Real Sales Talk show will be valuable to anyone who wants to get into Snapchat and utilize it for business purposes. So again, tonight's discussion is going to be about Snapchat strategies for salespeople. And I want to start off with a question. And I want you to think about this. The question is, do you think Snapchat can be used to make money? Now, if someone were asking me this, I would say absolutely 100,000%. It's happening right now. If you don't believe me, just do a web search for Snapchat influencer marketing. You're going to pull up some really interesting stories from some celebrities, like A-list celebrities like Kylie Jenner. But you're also going to pull up stories from Snapchat celebrities like Shonduras. You can search him and follow him. He's a really creative storyteller who adds in little art into his snaps. So the answer for me is, do I think people can make money on Snapchat? The answer is absolutely yes, because people are doing it right now. It's a little bit of the wild, wild west as far as how people do it, how people make money on Snapchat. But my objective today is to give you some specific strategies to, A, not only build your community, not only build your audience, but also to generate revenue. I mean, that's really, if you're a salesperson, you're in a sales spot, you're running your own business, and you're having to create products that to generate revenue, you're hopefully thinking about different platforms that you can utilize, and Snapchat is still, even though it's gained momentum, you have the opportunity to be an early adopter of Snapchat. I still believe this with all my heart, that even though Snapchat has really gotten its critical mass, you can still be a thought leader and still gain attention before anyone else. I'm going to say like 12 months from now, maybe 24 months from now, parents, older people will be getting on this. So it's your opportunity really to build a community, build value around what you're talking about. So let's kind of dive in here to talk about the first thing, which is how do you use Snapchat? We'll start off with some very, very basics and then quickly build up from there. So if you're watching this here, I'm going to pull up my phone and just go through a few things here. So right off the bat, when you open this here, you can see me in there. You're going to have the record screen. So you can take a picture, you can record a video, you can even draw and add little stickers on the snap. So there are lots of cool ways to use this, but I'll get into those in just a minute. Now, one of the newest features of Snapchat is Memories, which allows you to save those moments so that they don't expire. Normal snaps and stories expire within 24 hours, but if you save it to your Memories, it's kind of like being able to access those memories later on when you want to show someone something. Or one of the interesting ways that I have been using Memories is to go access something in the past and then share it out to my Snapchat followers. So Memories is another really cool way to utilize Snapchat. Now, where Snapchat began was actually a one-to-one messaging platform. So you would do like text. You would text friends a message just like text messaging, but the interesting thing that makes Snapchat unique is that it disappears. If you're texting one-to-one, it disappears after you've logged in and looked at the text or watched the video. Since the beginning, Snapchat has added some features that allow you to save that text or that video or picture if you're communicating one-to-one, so that you can access it later. But if you do nothing at all, that message will disappear after you've looked at it and moved outside of that message, that communication string that you're communicating with your friend. So how do you use Snapchat? If you're looking at this from a business, an entrepreneur, a business person, a salesperson perspective, I want to give you 5 tactile specific strategies that you can use. And some of these, most of these actually, I'm using, and I can speak from my personal experience. You're going to be able to take these and implement these immediately. So the first one that I want to talk about is so simple. You're going to be like, gosh, Sean, I really wish I would have thought of that myself. I should have thought of that myself. So the first strategy is organizing your contacts in Snapchat into groups. Groups like prospects, customers, your VIP list. And organizing your contacts, your friends, into these categories will allow you, number one, to communicate to a specific group of people immediately, so you're not having to scroll through and, oh, who is that person? Oh, what's that person's name? I want to make sure and share this message out to them. So if you've got a new product or you've got an article that you think a specific person, let's say a customer, might benefit from who's on Snapchat, if you've organized your contacts in a specific way to be able to easily identify them, you'll be able to quickly share that message out one at a time to those specific groups of people. So here's something that I did a while back, and I have to give credit where credit is due here. This idea came from a conversation that I had with Carlos Gil. If you're not following him, I mentioned him on the last show. You should follow him. He's a Snapchat thought leader. He's on the marketing side, but he's always sharing really good ideas in the form of what he calls real talk. So I think you'll like him. If you're not following him, you should. The Carlos Gil, Gil with one L, not two. So if you can see here, I've pulled up my friends, and at the very top is a search. And this is something that I actually did. I sent a few snaps out in my story, and I was working on an article specific to Snapchat, and I asked my friends, for anyone that wants to be notified when I finish this article, snap me back and let me know, and I will send you the link directly. And so I had a handful of people who replied back with, yeah, I'd love to be notified when that article is live about Snapchat. So what I did was I added them to a VIP list. So you can see here at the top of the search, I've entered in VIP. So anyone that I've added VIP next to will come up when I search that. And anytime that I want to communicate to a specific group of people, I can search VIP and I can communicate to them one-on-one. Now, how do you add the VIP next to the name? You can just search that person's name, and have when you pull up that person's name, you can go to the little gear. So I'll show you here. Here's our friend Hunter. Hunter's actually working on a real sales talk website for Henry and I. So shout out to Hunter. You're the man. Thank you so much for being willing to do that. Now, if I wanted to, in fact, I should add Hunter to our VIP list, or my VIP list. So I'm going to click the gear icon that you see there in the corner. You're going to have a few options. One of them is edit name. I'm going to go edit name. And you'll see it'll pull up with Hunter's name. I'm going to go all the way. Now, it really doesn't matter where you put this, if it's on the left or the right or whatever. I'm going to put VIP next to Hunter. So you can see there, I've got VIP now there. And then I'm going to save. And bam. Now, Hunter's got VIP. So anytime I search for VIP now, Hunter, as well as my other VIPs, will come up. So do this for customers, do this for prospects, and it allows you to, if you, let's say, you're following a lot of people like I do, my stories from my friends, I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people. So I have a hard time keeping track of people. So if I ever wanted to, I could go up to the top search menu in my story, search VIPs or customers or prospects or whatever it is. And now I'm able to go through and watch my VIP stories or communicate with them directly. So cataloging or categorizing your people that are important to you, that you want to follow, this is a really cool way to build specific content for specific communities and communicate to them directly with that message. Here's an idea on what you could do. If you're pulling up Snapchat and you want to try and build a group, maybe you might communicate a story out and say, actually, let's just get crazy and do this live. We're going to do this here. So, okay. What's up, Snapchat friends? I am live here on Real Sales Talk, and I'm demonstrating how to leverage categories. Okay, so it's going to play it back. I'm going to share it to my story and my memories. Listen, I'm building a VIP list. Anyone who would like to be a part of my VIP list, share it. To be notified of exclusive things that I'm doing and exclusive content, snap me back and I will add you to that list. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we get some real-time feedback from here. Just go to the top here. So this is one idea that I really, really like because it makes it easy to access people that are important for you to keep track of. The other idea, this is something that I will actually be able to provide some better feedback on next Real Sales Talk, which is custom geofilters. When you create a snap, and let's see if we can do this live here. When you create a snap, doing the recording, when you create a snap, after that you can add a filter to it. Let me just mute that. And so in this case, you can see here, if I swipe through, I can see different filters that companies and other people have used. There's a San Francisco filter because I'm in San Francisco this week. You can actually have your own Snapchat filter designed, and you can set it up so that when you're in a specific location, for example, I'm at a sales conference, Sales 2.0 conference, Monday and Tuesday of this week. When I am at that location, Snapchat will read that I'm in that location, and you will be able to see the geo filter that I have had created by a designer. And there's a few reasons why I'm doing this. And I'm looking for the share screen here so I can actually show you. I'm going to give you, this is, no one has seen this yet. So I am going to share this with you here. I just got to remember how to share my screen. Screen share, hold on just a second. So if you're listening to the podcast version of this, you'll have to go and pull up the video on YouTube because the visuals definitely help. Okay, so this is my filter. Now the gray background, of course, won't be there. My snap will be there. So I had a designer design this. I found on Fiverr, fiverr.com, for 15 bucks. 15 bucks. I had a designer design this, and now when I'm at the conference and I record a snap or post a snap, I can this filter will come up and I can utilize this. In addition to this, let's see. Let me make sure. In addition to this, anyone else who's at that location using Snapchat, that filter will show up as well. So do you see where I'm going with this? This is extremely powerful because if a person pulls up Snapchat, sees your filter, this may be a really interesting conversation piece if you're at an event and they see your filter, and then later on, they see you in person at that event. Really, really great way to meet people, make a conversational piece, network. But if you're thinking about this from a brand perspective, this is going to be a great way to create attention for people who are in a specific location. There's lots of really interesting ways to use this. In fact, I just saw before this show started that my friend Carlos Gill had a Pokemon Go geofilter created, and he assigned it to some specific places in the San Francisco Bay Area. And he's actually running an experiment to get feedback on engagement, people who use this geofilter in specific locations. And he's going to create a piece around how businesses and brands can use geofilters to create brand awareness. I'm sure there's some additional ideas that I'm not thinking about or haven't taken the time to think about. And if you think of some of those things, some of those ideas on how to use geofilters, definitely let me know, because I'd love to hear some of your ideas. So that's custom geofilters, really, really cool idea. As far as cost goes, when you have that geofilter made and submit that to Snapchat, cost is depending on the area that you're in, the demand, as well as the geo fence that you set for how many people see this. So I have, for this particular location, it's a hotel in San Francisco here, and I'm paying $21 a day, so Monday and Tuesday, and I'm having that geofilter run from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, because that's really when most people are going to be there. So give this a try. And if you do end up trying it, hit me up on Twitter. And I'd love to hear your story on how you utilize this, or if you thought of another idea, I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Okay, so next strategy and tactic is something that I came across early on, and I'm pulling up the app right now, but it's called Ghost Codes. It's basically, Ghost Codes is the new Snapchat networking app. And so where Snapchat fails in many ways when you're talking about businesses and brands using Snapchat is discovering other people who are like-minded, or maybe you want to follow specific groups of people as a potential business opportunity. Let me show this to you here. So I've got Ghost Codes pulled up. And if you open Ghost Codes, you'll see it opens up to a home page where they have different sponsored, or not sponsored, but different highlighted people in different categories. And then as you go across, you can actually search the categories that you're interested in. So you can see here, you've got viral stars, you got sports, comedians, fitness. The one that I'm in is business. So you see the little pie chart right there. I tap on the business one, and this is going to show me the top people in this category. And as you scroll down, you can actually see many, many different people. You can say that you heart them, which is basically just a vanity metric, essentially. You can also download their Snapchat code. Download their Snapchat code, and then you can open up Snapchat and you can upload their Snapchat code, and then it makes it an easy way to follow them on Snapchat. So if you're not using Ghost Codes, you definitely should. There's some the two guys who started this are really, really cool. Actually, I've been trying to get them on the show, so hopefully I sent them another email today since Snapchat and Real Sales Talk were top of mind to see they verbally committed, but we just need to nail down a date. So hopefully we'll have them on and they can give even more insight. Now, this is not only a great way for you to find people, but this is a fantastic way for you to build your following as well. So if you're on here and you've created a profile, people can go through and they can give you a little heart. They call Ghost Codes calls it a kudos, and then they can also download your Snapchat code to upload into Snapchat. So really, really cool to be able to use it like this. Now, to take it a step further, I really don't think that a lot of people are using the Ghost Codes in this specific way, but it's the little search menu down there. If you go to search, you can Ghost Codes will allow you to search by snapper as well as interest. So go to the search and type in the topic or maybe the industry that you're most interested in discovering. Not now. I don't need anything. I'm fine. That was housekeeping. I'm at the Marriott Hotel. So if you go to search, you can search in a keyword. So you can see here, if you're watching the video version, is I've typed in sales, and it pulls up all sorts of people who have added sales to their profile. So right now, I can go. There's 305 people who've used the sales tag. And if I click on that, I can see everyone in here. This is money. This is money. This is a Snapchat ninja move. If you're not doing this, you're missing out big time on discovering people who are ideal either to your prospect base. Maybe you're targeting a specific company. You've got an account that you'd like to get into. Let's say it's, I don't know, Taco Bell. Or maybe it's GE, or maybe it's a big brand, but maybe it's a small brand. You can go to search and type that in, and you're going to pull up. You'll likely pull up. Let's just do this here. Let's type in Taco Bell and see who comes up. Taco Bell. Let's see if anyone from Taco Bell comes up. No one comes up in snappers. No one comes up in ooh, someone comes up in interest. So if I go Taco Bell, check this out. I've got people who have used the tag Taco Bell in their profile. I don't know if those are actual people who work there, but there's a chance that this is the case. So, Ghost Codes, major key. You can go and download it. It's on iPhone. It's in the App Store for iPhone. It's also in the Google Play Store if you're using an Android. Check that out, create a profile, and leverage that puppy to the fullest. Okay, so next strategy is surveys. This is a really interesting one, and I think actually, I may have a screenshot of this that I can show you. So I've used surveys. I've run surveys through Snapchat several different times, and one of the times specifically I was looking for, and I apologize that I'm looking down here. I'm looking to see if I can. I'm looking to see if I could find the screenshot that I have. Yes, this is it. Sweet. Okay, so when you run a survey on Snapchat, here's how it basically goes. You record your first video, you talk about what survey you're running, you go through the options that you want people to vote on. Let's say you're running a survey on what your favorite fruit is. I want to know, Snapchat friends, what your favorite fruit is. And you list through the options. Okay, so option A is going to be bananas. Option B is going to be apples, and option C is going to be grapes, and option D is going to be none of those. And you go through and you create a snap for each of those fruits, so that when people watch that story, they can actually tell you which fruit they like. And what you want them to do when you do this survey is to screenshot the snap of the option that they prefer. And so let me show you what this looks like. So I ran a survey a few months ago, soliciting feedback from my followers on Snapchat for what types of content they would like to see from me. So the first option I had them vote on was sales psychology. The second option was closing techniques. And the third option was Snapchat takeovers. So I'll show that to you here. So you can see over on the right-hand side, hopefully that's coming up correct because on my screen it's reversed. But you can see sales psychology was overwhelming. I had 10 votes for sales psychology, 3 votes for closing techniques, 2 votes for Snapchat takeovers, and then I actually had other, and the fourth option was other, and I had them snap me back with what they would like. So sales psychology is a thing that the majority of people who voted want to hear as far as content on Snapchat. So this is a really great way not only to get feedback, to kind of test the waters if you're talking about maybe content to produce on Snapchat, but it could also be maybe you've got a product, something top secret that R&D is working on, and you want to give your Snapchat followers a sneak peek, or at least get their feedback on what they think would be most interesting or valuable. So surveys, really powerful way to utilize this. I've also used, the screenshot technique. And by the way, with Snapchat, you know how you can see views, you can see eyeballs. This is becoming a vanity metric because it really doesn't mean much other than someone has seen your snap. It's the equivalent of impressions, ad impressions. When you run a banner ad on a website, right? You're able to track how many eyeballs have seen that. Now, the ultimate engagement with Snapchat at the moment is screenshots, because someone is actively giving you feedback or actively responding to you. So there are some interesting ways that you can utilize screenshots and incorporating in surveys to that. So really love this idea. If you've tried this, let me know. If you end up trying this after listening to this show, I would love to hear some of your engagement that you get. Now, my fifth and final strategy for this particular show is something that I'm really, really curious about. I'm really, really interested in, but I have not personally. I have not had anyone reach out to me. But it's influencer marketing. So right now there are scores of brands who are reaching out to Snapchat influencers, Snapchatters who have, you know, eyeballs around a specific demographic, or maybe it's Snapchatters who are creating content around a specific idea, companies who want to come in and leverage that audience. This is becoming a really, really interesting way for brands. Let's say you're the salesperson or the company, and maybe you're not heavily into Snapchat. You don't have the audience that you'd like to have. Paying a Snapchat influencer to talk about your brand on their Snapchat channel, money. In fact, I read through a few articles today that said that some Snapchat influencers are making between $1,500 a day and $100,000 a week. The Snapchat influencer that I mentioned earlier in this show, Shonduras, is getting paid by Disney and other similar brands to talk about their brand on their Snapchat channel. So if you're a brand, you're a salesperson, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to use Snapchat to make money, and you don't have an audience, consider reaching out to a Snapchat influencer who does have eyeballs, who's really popular, and offering to sponsor it. It could either be, specific product placement in their Snapchats. It could be an interview where you interview them or they interview you. It could be a specific promotion. So you have that Snapchat influencer talk about your brand and then provide a call to action. Use the promo code SAVE20 and go to whatever website, tacobell.com or amazon.com. Use SAVE20 Amazon promo code to save 20% on one purchase. How about those apples? It's a really cool way to use this. Now, Snapchat does not have a formal advertising platform just yet. Now, geofilters, I guess, could be considered an advertising platform, but when brands want to promote something, there's no real way right now for those brands to track traffic from Snapchat to a website, because there's no click-through in a filter or in a snap. Now, I bet that'll come. But in the meantime, it is a little bit of a wild, wild west for brands or salespeople who want to do something like influencer marketing, where you pay someone to mention your product or mention a special that's going on. So to recap on my 5 ideas, number 1 is organizing your Snapchat contacts into categories like prospects, customers. You can even create a VIP list like I did for people who want insight into something that you're working on. Kind of like a VIP list or a special list for insiders of a band, right? If you sign up for VIP list for a band, you kind of get early access to tickets and maybe in-person meetups with that particular brand. This is a really great way to leverage community, get engagement, and communicate directly to people who have specifically asked for a particular type of information or content that you're creating, whether it's on Snapchat or not, doesn't matter. Second one is geofilters, really interesting way. I'm actually going to use this tomorrow and Tuesday at the sales conference that I'm at. So I'll report back to you on things like how many people use the filter, impressions, people who saw that filter. So third strategy is using ghost codes, the directory, to network, to build your community, follow people who you're interested in following, as well as search for specific keywords that you're interested in. Could be your product or brand, could be a specific account or company that you want to get into, and you want to use the search option of ghost codes to find people who are at those companies. Fourth strategy and technique is surveys. Use surveys inside of Snapchat to get engagement and invite people to screenshot the option that they like most or want most. You can use surveys in many, many different ways. As I mentioned before, I used it to get feedback from my followers on what types of Snapchat content they want to see from me. And then the last tactic or strategy is influencer marketing. Maybe you don't have a following. Maybe you're just starting out, but you want to leverage Snapchat right now. You might consider paying a Snapchat influencer who does have an audience to promote your brand or promote a special offering. So those are my 5 key ones. I want to rattle off really quickly some other ones that I have mentioned before in a blog post, still good ones. So these are kind of more practical tactics to leveraging Snapchat, maybe not so much directly to make money, but certainly to build community and to build audience and engagement. So behind the scenes, give a behind the scenes look. The nice thing about Snapchat is it's only mobile, and you carry that puppy anywhere that you go. So give a behind the scenes look at your product, your company. You could give a behind the scenes look if you're at a particular product release or maybe a conference. Build some content around that. Give people a behind the scenes look that they cannot find on your Twitter handle, on your Facebook page, Instagram, whatever it is. Make this a really special way to give people behind the scenes look. So next one is testimonials. Get people's testimonials. If you've met someone who's a customer of yours, maybe at a conference like the one that I'll be at, you can invite them or ask them kindly to give a testimonial and get that on Snapchat as they record their feedback and their experience. Testimonials could also be used now with this new memories feature that Snapchat just introduced a couple of weeks ago. You technically would be able to use the memories option to take a video that maybe you have on your phone that you've recorded and upload that testimonial video to Snapchat and then share that out to your story. So you don't necessarily have to use Snapchat to record the testimonial. What I don't know yet, because I haven't tried this, is let's say you have a minute-long video. How does that work? Because Snapchat's stories are 10 seconds each if you're using videos. So how does it break that video automatically up into 10-second segments, or does it only allow the first 10 seconds of that testimonial? Check that out. Let me know what you come up with, because I have not tried that yet. Exclusive content, sort of similar to the behind-the-scenes content. Exclusive content would be content that you're only creating on Snapchat, and you can parlay maybe your audience on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can invite them to go to your Snapchat account and talk about how you've created this specific, you went on this massive rant about, I've actually done this. And for those of you that listen to our show, you've probably heard me talk about how content curation drives me bananas. It just drives me bananas because it's too easy, it's too simple, and it's noisy because everyone else is doing it. So let's say I went on a rant on Snapchat about content curation. I could go to my Twitter page and say, just went on an epic rant about content curation. Take a look, and then I can put my link to my Snapchat handle in that tweet. Next is Snapchat takeovers. Now, if you're following me on Snapchat, you have seen me do this a couple handfuls of times. If you're not following me on Snapchat, you can search me, Sean M. Mitchell. Sean is S-E-A-N, the Irish way of spelling it. And I'll do this from time to time. In fact, I may do this while I'm at this conference if I find someone that I really like and I want them to just drop some sales knowledge on my followers. So you can have someone take over your Snapchat account, whether it's in person or maybe you give that person login credentials, and just have them share some thoughts. Now, make sure that it's relevant to your audience. If you've built a brand around sales, I wouldn't recommend having your friend who is in Reese's Buttercup sales to take over your account unless that person can find a way to tie in Reese's Buttercups to sales. You like that one? Okay, the next one is industry tips. So if you're in IT security, give some tips around how businesses can improve their network security at their business, on their servers, or whatever it is. If you're a business owner selling flowers, give some tips around things to think about when Valentine's Day comes up, or Mother's Day. What flowers are best? Which flowers last the longest? If you're a website designer, you're using Snapchat, give some tips on maybe how someone who's got a website can improve their SEO, how they can modify one simple change of title tags can increase SEO by 10% or whatever. I'm not an expert in SEO or website design. So industry tips, provide valuable tips around content that you produce. And lastly, as we come to the end of this particular show on Snapchat strategies for salespeople, curate others' content through memories. I did this last week. In fact, it was a week ago Sunday. I was going through my Facebook timeline, or my Facebook feed. I saw a quote in the form of an image that Gary Vaynerchuk posted. And I liked that one a lot, and I wanted to share it to my Snapchat community. So I saved that picture. I opened up Snapchat, went to memories, went to camera roll, and selected that image and shared it out to my Snapchat followers. So really, really great way to share other people's content. Maybe you've seen a post or something, and it's not like in image form, it's easy to share. Try creating a screenshot of that post or tweet or whatever it is from that person. And then you can go to memories and upload that screenshot and share it out to your followers. So this is it. This is the end here. If you have some questions, either live or recording, feel free and shoot them my way. Let me just double check here. If you're not following me on Twitter as well, you can follow me at Sean M. Mitchell. Sean M. Mitchell. So this concludes Season 2, Episode 4, Snapchat Strategies for Salespeople. I want to thank everyone for listening. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, if you know of a business or you yourself are interested in having a conversation about sponsoring Real Sales Talk, let's do this. We're looking to find a sponsor for Season 3 coming up in a few months. And if you have not done so, given us a review on iTunes podcast, that would mean the world to us. If you're benefiting from the stuff that you're watching and listening to on this show, we would really appreciate your support and writing a review on iTunes. We've already had 3 or 4 people do it already. And thank you for those that have done that. Really, really appreciate it. Next week, we're continuing this mini-series on Snapchat, and we're going to be talking about how real estate agents can utilize Snapchat. This is one that I think is really interesting. I have quite a few friends on Snapchat and social media in general that are in the real estate space. And so, my friends, I'm thinking of you. We're going to have a few real estate agents who are Snapchat hustlers. Tell us about how they utilize it and how they have actually made money using Snapchat. So you're going to hear their stories. You're going to hear real estate specific use cases. If you're not in real estate, tune in anyway. These are going to be some additional ideas. Think about this broadly. Real estate agents sell a visual product. So if you're selling a visual product, you need to listen to this one because you're going to get some really good ideas. And then the week after, just to kind of tease the next show, we're going to have Mike Weinberg on. He's a sales consultant, and he's written a few books, Sales Management Simplified and Sales Simplified. So we're going to have him on the show. He's been a friend of mine on social for a little over almost a year now. So thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate you all, the Real Sales Talk community, and feel free to reach out. You can hit me up on Snapchat. You can also hit me up on Twitter. Use the hashtag Real Sales Talk if you want. And we'll see you next Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, as we talk about Snapchat for real estate. See you next week.